When the grid can't rely on business as usual, black start and islanded operations become the difference between resilience on paper and resilience in real life.
This is Powering the Future, a podcast series brought to you by Smart Grid Forums. One planet, one power grid.
I'm Mandana White, and today I'm joined by Michael Weixelbraun, Managing Director of BE Energy. We'll start with the company's co-located power system, what it is, how it's designed, and why it matters. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining the podcast today. Great to have you here.
Hello, Mandana. Great to see you again. Hi.
Right, okay. Well, before we get started, it would be really good just to get a quick overview of your role and responsibilities at BE Energy right now.
From my former jobs that I've done, I'm electrical engineer. So I'm the technical side now in our company. I was former working for the Austrian TSO, for Austrian Power Grid. I was there responsible for operation and maintenance. And since October 2024, I am managing director now for BE Energy. And this is BE Energy is a wind, PV, and BESS operator in Austria.
Fantastic. Okay. So my first question for you, Michael, is the background on BE Energy's co-located power system. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that entails?
Where is BE located? That's important also to know why we do this here in Burgenland. Burgenland, BE is named Burgenland Energie, and that's a utility in Austria, in Eastern Austria. And the reason why we do a lot of wind and PV here in the Eastern region is because it's just in front of the Alps, and we have a lot of wind and also PV here. So not a lot of mountains. So that means a lot of sun. And BE is historically actually coming from the wind side. So we started to build the wind power plants in 1996. And now we're the biggest wind power plant operator in Austria at the moment. What did we do actually in the last years from 2021 now? We added to the same grid connection where the wind is connected, we added PV on the same grid connection. This is actually resulting from a lack of grid capacity, more or less. So we didn't build new grids for that. So we integrated wind and PV on the same grid connection now. And since 2026, so since this year, we add to the same grid location and the same grid capacity also EES systems, so storage system. So we call that system now super hybrid parks.
And what exactly is the significance of the black start and islanded grid operations?
There's a big significance for black start and island grid operation in Eastern Austria, since we, on the one hand, have a lot of wind and PV generation there. On the other side, there is a lack of classical synchronous generation. So for the grid restoration, on the one hand, it's essential to know at which step of the restoration process you would connect a huge amount of wind and PV power plants, that you keep the whole island stable. That's one point. And the other point that we are investigating now in normal operation is which contribution to power system stability in normal operation can wind and PV converters contribute. That's a different story. And so what we plan this year is we are building up a simulation model to simulate these super hybrid parks in islanded grid operation, one step, and then we try to find the most favorable parameterization settings for these converters. And then we want to go in a real black start and islanded grid operation test, where we take the simulated parameters, implement them into the converters, and try to restore a small grid capacity from the black start on. That's the plan for this year.
And how does energy storage enhance operations for BE Energy going forward?
Although storage will be a very important pillar in that whole system, because now we have wind and PV, now we add storage, and the super hybrid park concept means then we have a higher utilization of the existing grid, and we can increase actually the amount of renewables getting into the same grid capacity that we have. That's actually, so we don't need extra grid. what we for sure need is system management in behind still from the power grid operators. The storage system will, on the one hand, take part in all these also market products like balancing, ancillary services, reactive power, also in future spinning reserve maybe. But they will also have system supporting functions, like they can be utilized for redispatch in the power grid, for example.
Yeah.
And of course, they can store energy that is curtailed from the PV. Since we have a share on this grid connection point from 100 MV wind, 100 MV PV, and 100 MV storage. When you have wind and PV coming at the same time, they would extend the grid capacity at the moment. You would curtail PV, and the storage right next to the PV can store the energy that would have been lost without the storage. This is more or less the strategic fit of the storage systems. And we will build up around 720 megawatt hours in the next 2 years. And this capacity will be extended furthermore up until 2030.
So what will you be sharing with us on the flexibility panel at SGT26?
I will be sharing insights to this super hybrid park concept and also to the optimization potential that we see in this configuration. We will also have an insight on the status of the implementation of the storage systems. Also, I want to give insights into the research that we do on the parameterization of wind and PV converters. This is done to strengthen grid stability in normal operation and also in grid restoration. And I'm sure that we'll have valuable insights at that point of time already.
And what are you personally hoping to take away from SGT26?
For sure, I would like to strengthen the exchange of experiences regarding the operation of hybrid parks and co-location parks. I think that there is a growing community in Europe, and we're more or less facing all the same problems. And that's one of the biggest parts I would like to take away is share experiences right in the network, and then come back with a few more ideas how we can solve the challenges that are ahead of us.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your insights today. It's been great having you on the podcast. Looking forward to seeing you at SGT26 in Paris at the end of March. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you. Join us again next time as we discuss another big topic shaping the future of the power grid. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smart Grid Forums, and to follow us on LinkedIn. Until then, thanks for watching and listening.
This is Powering the Future, a podcast series brought to you by Smart Grid Forums. One planet, one power grid.